Recently, President Donald Trump issued a stern warning to the BRICS nations, a coalition comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. He emphasized that any attempts to challenge the supremacy of the US dollar would not be tolerated, threatening severe economic sanctions, including 100% tariffs, against countries seeking to undermine the dollar. Trump made it clear that the US dollar's dominance is non-negotiable, and the United States will aggressively defend its position in global trade. However, despite these warnings, BRICS is not retreating. In recent years, these nations have been actively working to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. One significant step has been the promotion of trade in local currencies. For instance, Brazil and China have agreed to conduct trade directly in their own currencies, the Chinese yuan and the Brazilian real, bypassing the US dollar as an intermediary. This shift not only minimizes exchange rate risks, but also strengthens their financial independence, marking a strategic effort to reshape international trade rules without US dollar influence. In addition, BRICS is making another bold move: the massive accumulation of gold reserves. By the end of 2024, the BRICS countries are projected to hold approximately 6,200 tons of gold, accounting for over 21% of the world's total reserves. This isn't merely about stockpiling gold. It's a calculated strategy to protect against financial instability and economic sanctions, ensuring they have assets that are beyond the reach of the US dollar. BRICS has also introduced a new payment system called BRICS Pay*, a blockchain-powered cross-border platform that allows member nations to conduct transactions in their own currencies, bypassing traditional Western-dominated systems like SWIFT. This system enables direct payments in local currencies, eliminating conversion fees and reducing transaction costs. BRICS Pay is more than just a cost-saving measure. It's a direct challenge to the US-dominated financial architecture, aiming to create a more independent, multipolar global financial system. These initiatives, BRICS Pay and the Gold Accumulation Strategy, are part of a broader long-term plan to reduce reliance on the US dollar and establish a new financial order. They reflect growing tensions between the US and BRICS, with the latter seeking to redefine the dynamics of global finance. As these nations unite, they are not only altering their financial policies but also reshaping the global power structure. The question remains, can BRICS truly break the US dollar's dominance? The US dollar is more than just a currency. It is the cornerstone of global trade and finance, deeply entrenched in international treaties, financial markets, and global institutions where the US wields significant influence. However, BRICS strategies are undeniably putting pressure on the US, and the future could see substantial shifts in the global financial landscape. With increasing cooperation among its members, BRICS is paving the way for a multipolar financial system where power and influence may no longer be concentrated solely in the hands of the US. As these strategies unfold, one thing is certain: we are witnessing a pivotal moment in global finance. The outcome will determine whether the US dollar retains its dominance or if BRICS succeeds in creating a more balanced financial world.
Before we even start, hey, the elephant in the room. President Trump's in the hospital from COVID. And I just want to say my heart goes out to COVID.
Chris Rock kicked off his set with a savage throwback, revisiting one of Donald Trump's most infamous moments: the suggestion that injecting disinfectant could combat COVID-19. Rock perfectly mimicked Trump's tone, sending the crowd into fits of laughter. He didn't stop there, though. Rock also took aim at Trump's obsession with crowd sizes, pointing out how absurd it is for a president to be so fixated on such a trivial matter. The bit was hilarious, but it also hit a little too close to home, something the internet quickly agreed with. The clip spread like wildfire across social media, with fans and critics alike sharing the moment. Next, Rock compared Trump to a walking, talking asterisk Saturday Night Live asterisk sketch. Except, as he pointed out, this wasn't parody, it was real life. Rock went in hard, listing off a string of Trump's most embarrassing business failures. Asterisk asterisk Trump stakes asterisk 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 Trump University asterisk 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 Trump Airlines asterisk asterisk. Each name landed like a punchline because behind every flashy logo was a collapse waiting to happen. Asterisk asterisk Trump stakes asterisk asterisk sold through Sharker Image, only to disappear shortly after. Asterisk asterisk Trump University asterisk asterisk shut down and forced to pay $25 million for fraud. Asterisk asterisk Trump Airlines asterisk asterisk folded within 3 years. The audience didn't just laugh, they recognized the truth behind the jokes. Rock's routine wasn't just comedy. It was a brutal takedown of Trump's so-called branding empire, a legacy built on gold letters and bankrupt promises. By the end of the set, Rock had not only entertained but also exposed the absurdity and failures of Trump's career, leaving the crowd and the internet buzzing.
Be a war hero that got captured. I don't want to vote for nobody that got captured. I want to vote for got away.
But the real shocker came when Chris Rock turned his attention to Melania Trump. He didn't need to exaggerate. He simply pointed out how icy she often appears beside Donald. The blank stares, the hand dodges, the stiff, forced smiles. It was all fair game. Suddenly, the internet was obsessed all over again, and Melania became the unexpected co-star of this viral moment. That brought everyone to the moment they'd been waiting for. The clips of Melania avoiding Trump's touch. These videos went viral asterisk again asterisk, sparking fresh speculation. Is she done with this marriage? The curiosity was palpable. Google searches for Melania Trump skyrocketed by over 450% in just 24 hours. Chris Rock didn't just tell a joke. He reignited a national obsession. And how did Trump respond? Just as expected, furious. He reportedly stormed through Mar-a-Lago before rushing to post on Truth Social, calling Chris Rock disrespectful and not funny. Some sources even claim he threatened legal action. But, as usual, it backfired. The clip spread even faster, the memes multiplied, and the conversation only grew louder. Instead of silencing the criticism, Trump's reaction amplified it, turning Rock's jokes into an even bigger cultural moment. The internet, as always, had the last laugh.
You got Elon, they're going to put him in a rocket ship. Space man. Oh, damn. Shit, J-Lo's going to marry Ben again just so she can stay in the country.
Chris Rock's genius lies in the fact that his comedy wasn't just funny. It was asterisk accurate asterisk. Every joke struck a nerve, not because it was cruel, but because we'd all seen it before. Trump's bizarre moments, Melania's quiet resistance, the string of brand failures, the explosive outbursts. Rock took it all and crafted a comedy set that America couldn't ignore. His performance wasn't just about laughs. It was a mirror held up to the absurdity of it all. And judging by the internet's explosive reaction, Rock's set landed exactly where it was meant to. It wasn't just comedy, it was a cultural moment. Stay tuned, because we've got more fascinating stories coming your way.
Here is what he just posted. Quote, "The European Union has just put a nasty 50% tariff on whiskey. If this tariff is not removed immediately, the U.S. will shortly place a 200% tariff on all wines, champagnes, and alcoholic products."
Could 200% tariffs turn your favorite European wines and champagnes into casualties of the US-EU trade war? Asterisk asterisk, picture this. The bottle of French champagne or Italian Prosecco you love suddenly costs twice, or even 3 times, as much. This scenario could soon become a reality as the United States and the European Union engage in one of the most significant trade wars in recent memory. The catalyst? A proposed *200% tariff on European wines and other goods, part of the U.S. response to an ongoing dispute over aircraft subsidies. The U.S. argues that EU subsidies to Airbus have unfairly disadvantaged American aerospace company Boeing, and these tariffs are their way of striking back. But the fallout could extend far beyond the aviation industry, directly impacting consumers. European wines, cheeses, and luxury products could become unintended victims in this high-stakes economic battle. For wine lovers, this could mean the end of affordable access to cherished bottles. A $50 bottle of Bordeaux or Champagne could jump to $150 or more, turning everyday indulgences into rare luxuries. Restaurants, bars, and retailers are already preparing for the potential fallout, with some considering removing European wines from their offerings entirely. The EU, however, isn't taking this lying down. They threaten to impose their own retaliatory tariffs on American goods, from bourbon to blue jeans, escalating the conflict further. As both sides dig in, the big question looms. Are these tariffs a temporary negotiating tactic, or will they become a permanent fixture in global trade? One thing is clear. If these tariffs take effect, the global trade landscape and your wine rack will feel the impact. This trade war is heating up, and its consequences could be far-reaching. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.
Win. And then you get to the resort and you're like, Jamaica's nice.
President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning. If the European Union does not revise its tariff policies on U.S. steel and aluminum, the U.S. will retaliate by imposing tariffs as high as 200% on wine, champagne, and other alcoholic beverages from EU countries. This move is not a rash decision, but a calculated strategy designed to pressure the EU into addressing what the U.S. claims are unfair trade practices. The potential impact on the EU's wine industry could be devastating. In 2023 alone, the EU exported approximately $1 billion worth of alcoholic beverages to the U.S., with French wine leading the charge. A 200% tariff could send the prices of French, Italian, and other European wines skyrocketing, causing a sharp decline in their market share in the U.S. This would deal a significant blow to major wine-producing nations like France, Italy, and Spain, whose economies heavily rely on wine exports. For American consumers, the consequences would be equally dramatic. The price of beloved European wines could double or even triple, forcing many to seek alternatives. This shift could benefit domestic wine producers in the U.S., as consumers turn to local options to avoid the inflated costs of imported wines. However, it would come at the expense of long-established European brands that have dominated the American market for decades. The EU's wine industry is unlikely to remain silent in the face of such a threat. Producers and trade organizations are expected to push back, lobbying for negotiations to prevent these tariffs from taking effect. Meanwhile, the broader implications of this trade dispute extend beyond wine. It underscores the growing tensions between the U.S. and the EU, with both sides digging in their heels over trade policies. As the situation unfolds, one thing is clear. This trade war could reshape the global wine market, leaving both European producers and American consumers to grapple with the fallout. Whether this strategy will force the EU to change its policies or further escalate the conflict remains to be seen. Stay tuned, as this high-stakes economic battle continues to unfold.
One day to the other, we will have to stop to send our wines to the United States. There is no way we can sell wines in the United States. We can reach this market if we are suffering a 200% tariff.
Following President Trump's threat to impose 200% tariffs on European wines and champagne, the European Union responded with unwavering resolve. Senior EU officials declared that Europe would fiercely defend its wine industry against any U.S. threats, emphasizing that they would not back down in this confrontation. The EU criticized Trump's trade policies, arguing that such steep tariffs would not only harm the wine industry but also severely damage the long-standing trade relationship between the US and Europe. French wine producers, particularly premium brands like Champagne, are expected to face significant challenges if these tariffs take effect. The increased costs could make their products prohibitively expensive in the US market, threatening their market share. France has already voiced its commitment to protecting its wine industry and is prepared to counter any retaliatory measures from the US. However, this trade dispute could create unexpected opportunities for US wine producers. If the EU imposes 200% tariffs on imported wines, American winemakers could seize the chance to expand their presence in the European market, especially if the US reduces tariffs on domestic wines. This could provide a significant boost to the U.S. wine industry, allowing producers from regions like California and Texas to build their brand recognition in countries accustomed to European wines. If the EU maintains its current tariff rates and refuses to compromise, European wine producers could see a sharp decline in revenue from the U.S. market. Meanwhile, U.S. wine producers stand to gain a larger foothold in Europe, potentially reshaping the global wine trade landscape. The trade war between the US and the EU is reaching unprecedented levels of tension. How the EU responds and whether the US can capitalize on this opportunity to expand its wine market in Europe remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the next developments in this tariff war will be crucial, and the stakes are higher than ever. The Panama Canal, a new front in the U.S.-China power struggle stretching just 80 kilometers, the Panama Canal is a vital artery of global trade, with over 14,000 ships passing through annually, more than 5% of global maritime trade. Over 70% of this traffic is linked to U.S. ports, underscoring the canal's strategic importance. In early 2025, Donald Trump announced plans to regain U.S. control over the canal, reigniting a geopolitical tug-of-war. At a campaign rally, Trump criticized the high fees imposed on U.S. ships, calling them unfair and claiming the U.S. was being exploited by the very route it built. He specifically targeted CK Hutchison Holdings, a Hong Kong-based conglomerate that operates two key ports at either end of the canal, Valgol on the Pacific and Cristobal on the Atlantic. Trump argued that this arrangement compromises U.S. trade security and national defense. Behind the scenes, an internal document revealed that the Trump administration had tasked the Pentagon with exploring options to secure long-term U.S. access to the canal. These options included military cooperation, technical assistance, and measures to ensure the canal's neutrality. Panama responded swiftly, asserting that the canal is a national asset belonging to the Panamanian people. However, shortly after, Panama made a series of strategic moves. It withdrew from China's Belt and Road Initiative, which it had joined in 2017, and canceled CK Hutchison's long-standing port concession agreement, originally signed in 1997 and renewed in 2021. These decisions marked a significant shift in Panama's foreign and economic policy. In a surprising turn, a U.S.-led consortium headed by BlackRock the world's largest asset manager, secured a $22.8 billion deal to take over port operations. While Panama insisted this was a purely commercial transaction, the timing raised eyebrows, especially as the U.S. signaled its intent to reassert influence over the canal. China, the second-largest user of the Panama Canal, has remained quiet but is far from idle. Analysts suggest Beijing is pursuing an no-conflict strategy strengthening ties with regional powers like Brazil, Nicaragua, and Argentina while diversifying trade routes through the Arctic and Africa. This is part of China's broader plan to reduce reliance on U.S.-controlled choke points. This battle is not fought with weapons, but with trade leverage, tax policies, and financial investments. The U.S. is using its economic might to restore its influence, while China is quietly expanding its global footprint. The Panama Canal has become a microcosm of the modern power struggle between two superpowers, with Panama navigating a delicate balance between them. The outcome of this geopolitical chess game will have far-reaching implications for global trade and power dynamics.